Okay, good evening, everybody. So, how are you doing today? Good? Okay. So, let us start our lecture this evening. And before we start, as usual, let us see our schedule. Okay. So, according to our schedule, we are in this week 3. Okay, and then we will cover inheritance. Okay. Okay. Okay, so another reminder, 7 reminder again, that you will have your test 1 on September 14, right, or 14 or 15, whenever my class is, okay. And we have not decided yet the text format. It might be in here in this during class time, or also in virtually. We will let you know, and then please keep your eyes in D12. I will make you an announcement. Okay, so the topic we will cover from modules 1 to 3, okay, up to inheritance and polymorphism. Okay, so in our by the way, only first quiz did have multiple attempts. All other quizzes will have one attempt only. Okay, and today I released quiz 3. Still you can wait, that maybe 14, due is 14 of this month, but still you can wait and then learn and then take the quizzes. Okay, we are discussing inheritance, right? Module 3, part 1. It has also another part 2. Maybe I will discuss this in next lecture. Okay. Okay, I uploaded the lecture video in my YouTube channel. Released and 1322. Let me see. The last one, this one I uploaded today. That was the day before yesterday lecture. Okay. So is there anyone here you are not present in the last lecture? Everybody was in the last lecture? Okay. And also people who are in online. So if you did not watch this lecture video, the last lecture video, lecture 5, please watch it again and as soon as possible. Okay, if you do not understand the concept from lecture 5, it will be hard. You will not understand from lecture 6 and also the subsequent later modules, especially if you do not understand inheritance, then you will not be able to understand abstraction, you will not be able abstract class, you will not understand interface, you will not understand polymorphism. Okay, so inheritance is important to understand basic object-oriented programming principles. Okay, anyone has any question from our last lecture? Will you have a question? Oh, that's good. Sure. Okay. I will quickly recap our last lecture and okay, how many pages? I forgot how many pages, slides I went through. There are 42 slides. Okay. So we discussed that an inheritance is a technique or a process through which one class absorbs or enjoys an existing class's feature. Okay, not everything, but the inheritable. So what are inheritable? Not the private members. Except the private members, other members are inheritable. Okay, Public members are inheritable from anywhere, but private members are not inheritable at all. But protected members or default members are somehow inheritable. We will discuss this. We discussed those in our last lecture. So, in our last lecture, we discussed that if we have a mammal class, then we can create many other classes. For instance, cat class that have, or dog class, or cow class, or goat class, any other like other class that have some similarity with the mammal class. Okay, instead of, say for instance, all mammals are animals, right? Okay, a cow is an animal, a cow is a mammal. So instead of, so for instance, all animals or cow or mammal have weight, IQ, and then maybe fur color or temp, and then all of them eat, drink, move, give birth. They also do more, right? But our concept is to understand the basic things with this minimum number of attributes. So the attributes, this means these are the variables and these are the methods. A class, we know that a class is a custom data type that contains some variables and some methods, right, to access those variables. So these are the variables and those are the methods. So if this is like a kind of UML diagram, Unified Modeling Language, UML. So something is to give pics. So whenever you say minus, that means that that one is private. So you see the minus before that denotes private, and plus it means public. Okay. So we know that all animals or mammals or pet or whatever, say dog or cat have these features and variables, and also they do this task. Okay, but a cat drinks differently than a cow does. Okay, or some animals act this functionalities different way. Okay, so what do? We override these methods in the child class accordingly as needed. Okay, so here, since a dog, originally it was a dog class, and the dog has this, also cow has this, and cat has this. So instead of, for instance, putting this all in dog class, it would be better for us if we put these attributes in the mammal class, and we inherit the mammal in the dog class, cat class, cow class, as many subclasses. These are called subclasses. Child class, each of this is child class, or this is children class, and this is the base class or parent class. Or these are also inherited class, and this class is inheritable. There is a way to ensure, to protect a class not to be inherited. We can make it final. If a class is made as final, then okay, so it is protected not to be inherited. Okay, so we will discuss this later. And okay, so this inheritance, through inheritance we can reuse codes from one class to another class. Okay, the existing class remains unchanged, and the new classes or children classes can be extended. Okay, cannot be changed, can be extended with new features. Okay, so there is a tricky question. What are the questions? How many attributes does a dog have? Okay, so for instance, in this case, how many attributes a dog will have? So it will have all of these attributes except the fur color, right? Fur color is not inheritable, right? Okay, then another question is that how many methods the dog have? Okay, so these are the methods, or these are the attributes. Okay, It will have all methods, right? Okay, and the question is that I want to make another question. So if I make this, so you see the inheritance symbol, it goes from bottom to up. Arrow is the top sign. Okay, sometimes it is confusing that some people say that arrow should be from top to bottom. No, this symbol is from bottom to up. Okay, and how many dog or instance we can create? How many dog object we can create for this situation? Yes, as many as needed, right? There is no restriction, right? Okay, that's a good question. Okay. So here, if we see, if we have this class like this, I will come back later, okay? So, we discussed this. So likely, so if I have class, mammal class this, I can create any as many needed. We can create more subclasses. Dog class, cat class, cow class, goat class. What could be other? Sheep. Like what are the mammals that I can say? Sheep, camels, right? Is dolphin a mammal? A human, okay, yes. Human also a mammal, yes. Good catch. Okay. Yeah, I like to be creative and interactive in this course, okay? That's good. Okay. Now, there is a relationship. We say is a relationship, or is there is a relationship. It is defined as has a or is a. Let us understand as is a. Is a. Okay. So if it is a dog, so is a dog. A dog is a mammal, right? A cat is a mammal, right? A cow is a mammal, right? Okay, so is a, it goes from bottom to up, it's true, always true. But if come back from up top to bottom, it may not be true. Is a mammal cat? Is a mammal cat? Or are all mammals cat? No, right? There are some mammals that are not cat, such as dog or cow. Okay, but we can say that a dog has a weight, right? A dog has a eat method. A dog has a move method. So has a is true from top to bottom, and but is a is true from bottom to up. Okay, this is an interview question. Sometimes people ask this interview question. Okay, let us go through quickly how far we did. So go through. So in our last lecture we did, right? So this is which language? Oh, it's the C#. This is in C#, right? So in C# we use colon sign, and be sure that give space between and after this colon. In some languages like C++, will not allow you if you do not give space. Okay, and in Java, what we will write over here instead of this colon? Extends is plural, extends, all in lowercase. Okay, we saw that in our last lecture. And main method will be another method. Main method is here. Okay, actually this code is not okay, class main. Okay, this is the main class. Okay, so see that these classes are independent. This class is here and this class is here independent. It starts and it closes, and main class is also independent. We may have an inner class, a class inside another class. Okay, but that we will discuss later. But for now, I'm sorry. So for now, let us remember that these classes are independent. Okay, but we will make that dependent like through inheritance. This is the inheritance symbol. Okay, and this is Java. We will extend keyword, and I think we went through until this slide. Okay. Yeah, I went through program, right? So I went through some of this course, but let me go through start from here. I will come back to this slide later, okay? And here we discuss this, how to create an object. What is an object? Can you please give me a definition? What is an object? Please speak loudly. Okay, so in plain English, what is an object? I don't understand any about programming. Okay, give me a definition of an object. Like in physics, right? A thing, right? Huh? Here. Here, you can see me, you can show me, but I can't get a definition, formal definition, an official definition of an object. Okay. In physics, something is, okay, you can guess it. Okay, an object is an entity, right? An object is an entity, so that may be visible, that may be touchable, right? But it's not always true. There are many objects in this world we use and that we're familiar with that are not visible, they're not touchable, but very strange and powerful. Can you give an example of an object that is not visible but very strange? Yeah. Electricity, maybe it is visible because
a pen is an object.
Sorry?
A pen is an object.
A pen, right? The pen, yeah, a pen is an object.
Yes.
Okay, that pen is visible, but for instance, Wi-Fi signal, internet, or air, like that, oxygen, we do not see this, but we may realize this, but these are very powerful and helpful, right? So it is not necessary that an object needs to be visible, needs to be touchable. So an object, in a definition, the formal definition of an object is an entity of a class, is an instance of a class. In one sentence, an object is an instance of a class. And what is a class? A class is a user-defined data type. So what a class contains? A class contains some variables and some functions in order to access those variables, right? Then what an object contains? What does an object contain? An object holds the values, actual values of the variables of the class. So for instance, every dog instance contains a weight, has a weight, right? Every dog has a weight, every dog has a temperature, every dog has a IQ, and every mammal has all of these, temp, hues, okay? And every mammal has these characteristics, right? So an object contains the actual value or functionalities of the class in which it belongs to. You understand? As a human being, right? We are an object. All human beings are individual objects. Sometimes some objects are created with the combination of other objects. Like this building is created with a lot of materials, right? Each of the materials is an object. And a window is an object, a gate is an object, a ventilator is an object, a chair, table, everything is an object. Well, maybe you can find hundreds of objects in this room. A chair is an object. The whole world is an object. The whole universe is an object. Understand? Okay. Sometimes we classify the classes. Whenever we classify classes, we get a narrow subclass, right? then more specified object. Okay. So how does an object communicate with another object? In object-oriented programming or in real life, an object communicates with another object. How does that happen? So how do we communicate? People. Okay. Yes, physical interaction. If I cannot speak or you cannot speak, we get symbol, right? Sometimes if I say, I show you, you understand, right? When I'm asking you, right? Okay. If I like show this symbolic language, right? We can use a lot of like symbols or like so the through communication. So in object-oriented programming, so these all objects communicate with each other through this method. Okay. An object calls a method or passes a method to another object to communicate. For instance, as a human being, how do we communicate? I ask you a question, right? What is your name? Genesis? Okay, so I asked her a question and she replied, right? So we had both a two-way communication, right? How did we communication? We spoke, right? So we speak, as a human being, we speak. So speaking is a kind of communication. Understand? So the concept of object-oriented programming is that we will develop our programs or classes more likely as we develop our instances or object in a real life. So in real life, how this building was built? There are some windows, there are some gates, some doors, like those are separated or independent objects, and at some point those are combined or connected with each other, right? Then it became a larger object, right? So in object-oriented programming, we will make some classes. Okay, and then whenever needed, we will combine those classes. How do we combine? Through inheritance. Okay, we will combine those classes to make a larger class. Okay, or a new class. Okay, so we know that how do we create an object? So we use new operator. So it says dog d equal to new dog. So here this is a method. This is called constructor. We know that what is a constructor? A constructor is a method that has exactly same name of its class name. So what is my class name over here for this statement? What is my class name here? Dog, exactly dog. So dog is a class name, right? And what is D here? An instance of dog, right? So if my class name or type is not a built-in type, so we know the primitive data types. There are 8 primitive data types, right? If this type is not a built-in data type, a primitive type, then we will call this an object. Straightforward, okay? So, but if this is a primitive data type, then we will call this a variable. Okay? A variable holds values that may vary from variable to variable, right? Similarly, objects hold values, those vary object to object. So I have my own name, right? And you have your name, right? We have same attribute name, but my name is different than your name, right? It might be my name and your name might be same, right? But as an object, every object in this world has at least some or one attribute different than other objects. That is how we distinguish an object from another object, right? So both are this a chair, right? This is a chair and that is another chair, right? So but this is a chair objects, right? Each of these is chair objects. But are these same? One chair or two chairs? Two chairs. How they are different? Maybe they are both. Let us see that yellow chair and that yellow chair. They look same color, right? They look same color, same brand, same price, same weight, but at least there is one different attribute. What is that one? Location or position, right? Position, right? We cannot, even if you have two very tiny objects, we cannot put them in the same place on a table, right? Even if we have a pen or like the chair, we cannot put in same place in the wall. We have to put one after another, or next to another, or one above another. Okay? Okay. So sometimes, for instance, you see, so D is a dog, C is a cat, M is a mammal. We will discuss this number 4 later. Okay? I will come back here in a few minutes. Okay, so we learn why do we override the two-string method. We discussed this in our previous week, right? In order to display the attributes of a variable of an object in text format, we use. So okay, so I will come back here. So let us see our last program we discussed in the last program. Okay, so we did have our mammal class here. So now at this point we know what is a constructor, what is a getter, and what is a setter method. We know that, right? Everybody knows that? Okay, that's good. Okay, and this is a mammal class. Okay, and this is a dog class. So in Eclipse, it is the tradition that we have to save our classes in an independent file. We should save these classes. We usually save our classes in an independent class here, right? It should be here. Dot like this. Yeah. So you see that my mammal class. So my class name is mammal, and I have to save it as mammal.java file, and that must be a public class. So if I do not say public, if I want to save it, it will show me an error. Okay, it should show me an error. It should not work. Okay, a class should save, it's like in Java in Eclipse format, but we can, what I'm telling you, we can save all of the multiple classes in a single file. So you see that this is the startup, line number 3 is the startup of this class, and this is the line number 63. You see that the square is the end of this class. Okay, and this is the 59 is the end of this method, and this is the start of this method. So most of the IDEs have these features that we can see that what is the start and what is the end. So we want to cut and paste this everything in the main class. Okay, so I am putting over here. So this is the main start and this is the end. I can put as long as I need, so anywhere. Okay, but it is showing me errors, right? At least one error is showing me because class mammal, what is that on? Multiple, okay, so type mammals already defined because I have already mammals, there's Java. So actually I need to, I did not save it actually. And this is gone. Okay, but let me delete this. I can delete it. Okay, similarly my dog class is over here. I want to take the dog, entire dog class, cut the entire dog class, and I want to put in the main class. Okay, all the way end. So everything in my one class, but it is showing me an error because in Eclipse there in one file there must be only one public class. Okay, So this file has already a public class as main. So I cannot have another main class in this file. Okay, so I need to get rid of this public keyword. Then save it, then it is good. Okay, and then let me get rid of dog. So my dog class is empty, the dog file, but let me delete this. Okay, so I have only one class, one file, and everything in the code. So in your project you can do, like in your assignment you can do this way, but better way is to put all of the different classes in a different file. Okay, let me rename it. I want to if I do rename it, so right click, refactor, and rename. I want to say dog class main, whatever I want to say, I can say. Okay, so if I press enter, I should have renamed this. I will give new name of my. You see that file name has changed. Okay, so at this point my program should work same thing, same way that it used to work. Okay, so at this point, anyone has any question? Anyone has any question? Yes. What is that? Why it is better than to have independent files? Then your program will be as readable. It will increase its readability. Okay, it's easy to maintain code. So if you have do you keep all of your clothes or book in same file? In different aisles or different shelf, right? So what are the advantages? You know that. I should not ask. Okay. Same thing. Okay. Now, anyone has any question? No, right? Everything is good, right? Okay. So this is code in which language? Which language? Java. Okay. So let me make it. So convert it to Replit. repl.it. Okay, and then Java dot class main example 1, maybe Java. I save like this way so that I can. Okay, so this is my main class. So actually I want to get, this is everything. So in Replit, this is the format that they put all main class, their name as main. And in Replit, there is no public needed. Okay, I cannot put public in Replit. So here, so actually the class name will not need to be same. You see that I need to do everything exactly. Here. So I just copy and paste, except my file name is saved as whatever I did, but my class name, main class name is main. I cannot change it in Replit. Okay, this is the difference. Don't be confused. Okay, it should work. For the first time, it takes a few minutes, few seconds. Okay, it's working, right? Okay, I like everybody to participate with me now. I want to make what I usually do, convert this code program into C#. So I will do Replit. I'll go to Replit. I will add another program in C#. I copy and paste. I write CSITEd. Okay, and I just want to copy and paste code from here except this line from here to all the way end. So here to all the way, you see that it is different it says class is main class. Okay, in Java it was only main. Remember that in Java it was only main class is main, but in Replit they just define main class. Okay, I'm taking from here to there. I will need this part, I will put from there. So we need some changes. What are the changes we need to do? Let us do the easy change, right? So the program code I pasted from here to all the way end are in Java. I'm converting it to C#. Okay, you can start a stopwatch to see how many seconds or minute it needs. Okay, so what changes how many changes we need? What do we need to change? First of all, this main M should go uppercase, right? And string, it should be lowercase, but is uppercase is fine also. Even if you keep uppercase, if you put lowercase, then it will show actual string. Okay, but still it is lowercase is fine, uppercase is fine. What changes we need to do? We need to change all system.out.println by console.writeLine. Is okay? Console.writeLine. Console.writeLine. I don't know how many I could change in one command, I wish. Okay, what next? Too many. Wow. I don't know if there is any system. Okay, there is a possibility that we may skip something, but we will see that. Okay, if we find it, we will change that later. Okay, and what else we need to change? Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so let us change the inheritance symbol. So here this one we need to change, right? What do you need to do? It's easy, right? An easy change, right? Okay, what else? Override, right? Blah 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 blah. Okay, this is never used. Okay, but it is okay. Oh, okay. I learned something new today. Thank you. Okay. So override is by default. When we redefine this, override by default. Okay. But even in Java, we do not need to write this explicit override. So you can skip this. It should work. It works even if you do not need this. Okay. So we understand that the changes are minor, right? Now we understand what changes we need to do to convert a program from C++ to Java or Java to C#. One thing that maybe I did not face here. So in Java, we may have some properties. For instance, here is called if I do not give any access modifier. We will discuss this in our next class. So then still it works in Java. Okay, this is default, nothing means default. Okay, but in C#, if we wanted to do same modification, if we get rid of this, it should not work, it will not work, it will not work. Okay, C# does not have the default data type, default type. Okay, it is called access modifier. So access modifier, there are 4 types of access modifier. It's called private, public, protected, and default. In Java there are 4 access modifiers: private, public, one is protected, and another is protected, and another is default. If you do not give anything, then it's called default. Default means, so let me show you here. It's easy to explain here in Eclipse. You see that all of these are my packages. So you see this one, you see the package. A package is a packet. A package contains some files. Okay, so if you do not give any access modifier, then that is default. Okay, if you do not give any access modifier, that is default. Okay, and protected, if you do not get access modifier, then it is default. Default works only within the package, that means only within the family. Okay, like for instance, as a human being, we live in a family, right? For instance, if we have 4 family members or 5, 6 family members in the family, so everybody has some private activities, right? For example, we may keep those some, at least some maybe private. We may not share those information with other members, even the same family members. Brothers, siblings, or husband, maybe those are private. But there are some members, some attributes in a family that we can share family wise. Right? So there are all family members have access to this. Okay, for example, drawer and locker. And we put medicine, something, right? We can have access to it. Okay? And there are some, those are actually default. We share it in the family, those are default. Okay, so default means within package. But there another thing is the public, that is available from anywhere, not only in this package, this program, any other application that inherits this, that have access to this class, can have that. Those are public. So public is understandable, right? Everywhere. Private is understandable within the class, only within same class. Okay, and protect, and then default is within the package. Then there is another thing left, that is called protected. Okay, I will discuss this later. Okay, protected I will discuss later. So we understand this, what changes we need to do. Okay, so now let us come to our slides. So okay, so all programs, okay, so all classes by default, this is in Java, by default extends a class, a built-in class, that is called object class in Java. O is in uppercase. So there is an object class that is defined within the java.len.package. Okay, that is extendable by inheritable of all classes, even if you do not extend that object class. Let's remember this. Okay, so when we created, you see that when we created our main method, for instance, say M3. So you see that this is the yellow sign, that means says that the M3 is not used yet. We created M3, but we have not used yet. So let us try to use M3. So M3 dot, whenever you say M3 dot, let us see what it shows. So M3 has access to IQ. That is an integer type that is defined in the memory class. You understand this line? So if you understand this line, you should be able to understand almost all of this. So CCM3 has access to IQ. IQ is an integer type, is a variable, and it is defined in memory class. Then what is the next one? It is temp, that is float type, that is defined in memory class. Then what is name? It has drink method. Why do I know that this is a method? It has a parenthesis, right? After name, and its return type is void, and it is defined in memory class. Will, give us attention please. Will. Okay, then what is the eat method? So eat method, it is defined in memory class. Let us see. I am skipping some of these, but I'm going to, you see that this one equals. Okay, it takes an object type argument, new object, and it returns boolean, and that is defined the object class, within the object class. So some are the object class, you see that some of them are defined object class. This one has code object class, notify object class, notify wall, these are defined object class. You see that someone toString method is defined in object class. So toString method is defined in object class. This is why when we use here in our class, we redefine it. We redefine the toString method. So we override the toString method. Originally the toString method is defined where? In the object class. Okay. So in Java, all classes extends inherit some properties that are from the object class. Okay. And in C#, that class name is called object class, but O is in lowercase. So my mammal class, it extends from object. So this is by default. Okay, you do not need to do this explicitly, but it is by default. Okay, what is that on? What is there? Huh? Oh, here, right? Oh, it does not allow what is that called? It does not allow default. It's difficult to maintain two different programming languages. After that, I have 2 other classes. And this time I didn't try. So understand this? Anybody have any question? Then I have a few questions. Great, okay? So what is this object class? Is the great parent class. Okay? You know, in some religions, how do I remember that? How do I learn this? How do I remember that? In some religions, people believe that, okay, there was a great grandfather. God created only one couple of them. It's Adam and Eve, right? Only one pair of human beings God created, and we all are children of that couple, right? No matter our country, our current religion, our age, for instance, our gender, race, okay? We are son or children of that one single parent, right? So that is in programming language concept, that is the object class, is the greatest great parent, okay? So it has some, as we have shown that, it has some characteristics M3 that has defined within that are frequently needed for other classes or all other class members. Okay, for instance, wait, toString, notify wall, So at the end of this course, we will see that how to like create multi-threaded programming. Okay. So whenever we use app, right? Sometimes we get notification from our app, right? That an update is coming, right? There is some bug fix. So does the app developer send us email individually? No. They send a notification, notify all. You see that there is a notify all method. It goes to all object. Okay. And notify, if you want to notify a single object, that will go to single object. Okay. So there are some methods, for instance, equals. Somehow it should be equals. That is defined in object. So now we understand, right? What does this mean? You understand this, right? Anyone has any question? Will, do you see from that? Anyone has any question? Okay, it is very important to understand this. Okay, one thing that you may not understand, get class, and then what is that? There's that within angle bracket. What sign? That is actually is generic. Okay, maybe I forgot to discuss generic in while I discuss array list. Next time that I will discuss this. So far, anyone has any question? So we understand what is an object. What is this? You understand, right? Clear? Okay. Now you got this. So there are some methods. So this equal method is E in uppercase in C#. Okay. These are in C#, and we have seen that in, maybe there should have a slide. Okay, this slide in Java. You see the equals in lowercase. So these are the Java and these are the C#. Ultimately, you will be familiar with. For instance, you know that toString 2 is in uppercase, but in Java, toString 2 is in lowercase. What is that? Oh, toString is missing over here. Oh, it has toString. Okay, 2 is in lowercase. Okay. So we discuss access modifier except this one, protected. Protected is visible within the class or child classes. Okay. Let me give you an example of a protected member that you may, if you remember that. Okay. So we inherit properties in real financial properties from our father, right? Our father inherit other property from our grandfather, right? Our grandfather inherit property from his father, right? So this is the hierarchy it goes, right? So in real life, I don't know how this happened. I might have to happen. If grandchildren or granddaughter inherits property from his father is passed away, from grandfather. Traditionally in Muslim. I don't know how about USA, other religions. But for instance, let us consider. Let us think that only, so in USA, I'm not sure the rule, but let us consider. Think that if there is a rule that only child will be able to inherit from his father, from his parent, not from grandparent. Okay, then how do we get property from our grandparents? Okay, our parents get property from our grandparents, right? And we get property from our parents, right? Then indirectly we are getting property from our grandparents, right? So that is called protected. Okay, it's protected means so only its child class can get property. If my grandfather has some property, okay, I will not get that until my father gets that. Understand? That is right. Once my father gets that, I will get that through my father. Right? So that hierarchy goes, the hierarchy goes one level. You see that I skipped a slide. Which one? Okay, so Labrador. How do you spell it? How do you pronounce it? Huh? Okay, Labrador. So is a kind of dog, right? A dog is a kind of mammal, right? So if mammal has some property, it must goes to dog and then from goes to this Labradors. Okay, Labrador, it does not get property from mammal directly. Understand? This is the protected. Okay. So for now, remember this, and then when you do higher level of or critical, programming, then you should be able to understand this. Okay. And here is also a Labrador is also a mammal, right? Is also a dog, and a dog is also a mammal, right? But here a dog, are all dog Labrador? No, there are some dogs that are other kind. Okay, there are some mammals that are other kind, not dog. Okay. Okay. One thing we need to switch to the highlighter. So here is base. Base class means by colon base it calls the constructor of the parent class, mammal class constructor. Okay. In C# format, and in Java we use super keyword. In Java we use super keyword, super class. A super class or a base is used to call the parent class constructor. Okay, and this call goes only one levels. For instance, by calling super or by calling super, so if an Labrador object calls super, then which constructor will be called? Okay, it cannot call an animal constructor, mammal constructor. So super or base goes only one level hierarchy. Remember this, okay? It does not go multi levels. But inheritance goes this way. So inheritance goes this way, but the super or base does not pass one level. Like a stairway. In normal walking, we should not. We understand like this kind of stair is high, very clippy, right? It will be high. We cannot do more than one step, right? It will be hard for still it will be hard for me to do one step. But we're gonna do 2 steps. Okay. Okay, we are almost at the end. Anyone has any question? Okay, this is time. I like everybody to practice this. Okay, one thing that you see that this is the super and this is the how base is called in C#, colon base, and how this is called in Java, just called super. What it is calling? The the mammal constructor, this constructor. Okay, so we are in 35 slides. Give me 1 more minute. Let me see if we can finish this. So now you should be able to understand this slide. What is the difference between protected, public, and default? A few more slides. Access modifier. We discussed this, and we discussed this, and C# we discuss words and ends. Oh, okay, one more slide. I will see that. Okay. So we will discuss. Okay. One thing. Constructors are not inheritable, but they can be called, right, on level using super or base method. Okay, we are at the end of this slide. Anyone has any question? Okay, I like everybody at this point to do some practice. At least this program, whatever we have in this slide, please practice, okay? In our next lecture, please bring your laptop. I will ask you to write this code, and I will move around, and then I will see that how do you code. Okay, you may have seen that I messed up some code sometime. But I'd like to see whether you do messed up or not. Okay, so in our next class, we will have actual game. We will have actual fight in our battlefield, right? Okay, so please bring your laptop, and then we will review it. And if you have any question, so bring that with you, and we will discuss this. Okay. And thank you so much. The people who are online, has anyone any question? Okay, if no one has any question, then thank you so much, and you have a good night.
Bye, Professor. You have a good day.
Okay, thank you so much.
Wait, can you show that last slide one more time? I wanted to write the end of it.
Okay, the last slides are also available in the D12 page, D12 resource page. So if you go to D12, then
it's on detail. Okay, thank you.
Then slides,
Thank you,
and you see the slides are here. You can download from here. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you have a good day.
You too. Anyone has any question? Okay, thank you so much. Oh, thank you.
I'll grab that mic from you.
No. Are you also a student? No.
I'm just work for CSITEd.
Okay, that's good. So,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
yeah, I told this morning, it's in other classrooms there is charging dock. So there are charging dock for this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if you put a charging dock, then it does not need battery every day.
Right. I'll definitely look into that with my supervisor now.
Because sometimes it happened at least two times for me, that I saw the charger, that it was out of charge.
I had a bad one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try and change that for you every morning so you won't.
Yeah, but every morning changing, it costs money.
It does.
Yeah, but if you give put it charging, rechargeable battery.
Definitely let my supervisor know, and hopefully we can get that for you.